Welcome back to Prison Architect Inmate Files. We've also upgraded the security due to some recent escapes. This includes a sniper, an outside wall, dog force, armed guard force. Today's prisoner is Richard Faerber, in for triple murder. His first murder is unknown if he did it. Almost out of his sentence. He isn't as dangerous as Wingrove, but he sure likes killing snitches just like Wingrove. Just like a lot of prisoners in here, they're in for murder. They've also killed many other snitches, proving that this prison needed security from day one. Today we'll spend a day in Richard's life to see how he works. Also, like Josh, he also nearly has $1,000 bank, but that can be blamed on the lack of shop in the prison. This prison was meant to be a minimum security. However, you can see there's a very large diversity of people, mainly due to the violent tendencies of this prison. Wingrove is still with us. Wingrove has a longer sentence too. The contraband detection in this is now way higher. With barely any contraband ever going to be caught. All we need to do is clear up the contraband we have now, and it's gone. Faerbs doesn't have a job nowadays, but still manages to have a lot of money. This would be the first intake of 6 normal security prisoners ever in the history of this prison. Unlike Wingrove, Faerber enjoys more of this prison, having a much lower reoffending rate and a much higher range of conditions and far less murders. Still staying in maximum security, unlike Wingrove, who is now converted to Supermax with a pent murder sentence, almost in here for 100 years. Richard came here at the age of 29, putting him now at the age of 95. Yes. 24 days with that incident. Faerbs is a much more calm person compared to Wingrove, and has not been anywhere near. Unlike Wingrove, he has never spent much of his time within solitary, and spent more time outside. However, this is also the first day of maximum security in this wing, Now, as we can see, the intake has arrived, and it looks like we have 2 gang members. So today should be a fun day for us. The canteen is filthy due to the lack of drugs that are getting into the prison now. This once contraband-filled prison is now turned into a machine that works instead of a corrupt machine that had no chance of ever working ever. However, the incomes, it isn't very good. We'll also take the first maximum security prisoner in this prison that wasn't forced into this role by killing a snitch. As you can see, the dog patrols are doing much more efficient jobs, and the fate of prisoners are now being saved by the new armed guards, to the point that no one complains about their needs. Punishment is still very high. Richard was a CEO. Interpol tracked him down in his own shed, wearing combat gear and wielding a handgun. His business employers are relieved that he's behind bars after the many rumours about his murder of his ex-wife, and expected him to be the warden's nightmare. His message to his other inmate friends is, "I'm glad to be back." Faerber has never been in our prison before this, and I reckon his long stay in this prison will teach him life values he needs when he gets out here at the age of 101. As there's not as much information to cover on Richard, this will be a shorter episode. However, next time we're going to be talking about someone who isn't in for murder, but instead someone who's been in here many times for carjackings that he can or could be, is or is not innocent of. This is about his 7th time being in this prison. Which means that if he came in here the first time he was 21, right now, after the 7 times, he'd be edging... Ooh, wait. We got our first maximum security prisoner. He's in for rape and voyeurism. That's a new crime for this prison. And not only is it day 100, but Daniel Levers and Carl Schrubeck are both leaving. Tune in next time to see how the serial carjacker spends most of his time in this same prison every single time. 2 days from over here.